Hey, how's it going? This is David, and you're about to see a very special video case study with a member who's done $10,000 his first 30 days and then went on to do $80,000 in the 6 months that he's been in the program. His name is Michael. He's from Florida, and I want you to hear very, very carefully what he has to say about the system and why it's different and how he was able to generate those types of results. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. Here we go. How's it going, everyone? This is David, and today I have a very, very, very special case study for you. Today I have Michael here from Florida, and I've invited Michael, and he was gracious enough to take the time and come and do this case study for you guys. And he has incredible results to share with you. In fact, I was blown away when I actually found out how much he made. So Michael, welcome to the call. I really want to thank you for doing this. This is incredible. How you doing, first of all?
Doing very good. Thank you, David. Thanks for having me here. It's definitely an honor, to be invited here. I wasn't expecting it, but, I don't usually even do interviews, but I had to share, this story and the results I've been getting because of your system and everything you have done. So that's why I'm here.
Absolutely. And I don't do too many of these interviews unless it's like a really spectacular kind of a story, and yours really is. So Michael, why don't we maybe get started? I mean, we'll get to the results in a minute, but let's maybe get started with tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did you get involved in the industry? What did you used to do before, and that kind of thing. So the viewers can get a bit of a sense of kind of who you are and what you're about and that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. My story, is I grew up in Ukraine, so my story is a little bit, different. I didn't grow up in U.S. Even though I spent most of my life here now. I came here when I was 13. My family left everything behind, former Soviet Union, and they're like, we're gonna go explore this American dream and all this stuff. And I still remember, coming and going to school. I didn't speak any English and all that stuff, and everything was different and new. And I remember early on, one thing that was always drilled into me is like, you have to work hard here in this country. It's a land of opportunities, but the only way I thought, it was to make any money was, get a job, get a good degree. I still remember my parents telling me, if you don't, study hard and don't get a high degree, you're going to work at McDonald's. My parents had very, Soviet-like mentality, because that's what they believed. It's not their fault. It's just what they grew up with. So that's all they knew. So I remember coming to school and all that, and I never felt like I fit in. It was just like I went to school, I'm like, first of all, I didn't speak English at first, but then I learned English after a few years because I was forced to, and I was hating school with a passion, and then I barely finished high school, and I had to go pick a college, and I still remember my parents, you gotta go to college, you gotta go to college. So I did, and I'm like, I'm gonna study business, right? So I went to college and, all this, I applied, somehow I got in, I don't even know how, because I just like barely passed through school just to make my parents happy. And long story short, I'm not going to get into all the details, but I remember, sitting in class and I wanted to learn about business. I'm learning from all these professors and whatever the topic I was learning about. And, none of them ever owned a business. And that was the thing that always kind of was the disconnect for me, because I'm like, I'm learning from people who don't own a business. And I still remember, I don't want to get too much into all the stuff that happened in between, but I remember my friend comes, Ari, he's like, I met some lawyer guy, and he's expanding a business in the area or something. And he's like, I'm meeting him in Dunkin' Donuts, and it's like he's talking about the business. I'm like, really, business lawyer? Like, what is this all about? And he's like, well, if you want, I can invite you. And I still remember, I'm like, yeah, I want to find out if he has a room available. So he's like, I'm meeting at Dunkin' Donuts. Long story short, I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. He said, oh yeah, bring your friend, all this stuff. I show up, my friend never shows up. So it was me and this lawyer guy, and he's an attorney, and he was, I lived in Massachusetts back then. Now I live in Florida, but my family's in Massachusetts. And I remember this lawyer guy was traveling from Albany, New York, and came and he's like, oh yeah, I'm expanding in your area. And he's like, sit down and start drawing circles. And that's how I got introduced to this industry called network marketing, right? Which is not what we're in really, but that's kind of how I got a new world open up to me, that there was like another way of making money, right? And he started drawing circles and all this stuff. I'm not going to get into all the details here either, but long story short, I saw the circles, I got fired up. I'm like, wow, you mean I don't have to trade time for money? I don't have to do that? I was sold a dream, right? I'm like, so this is the American dream. Maybe that's what it is. And he basically sold me an idea. He's like, I'm like, how do I sign up? I signed up. Long story short, he's like, oh, you got to be at this meeting in New York on Tuesday. Come dressed in a tie, all this stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I'll be there. What do I have to do? He gives me a catalog. I bring it home. I lived with my parents while I was going to college. And I still remember my parents. I'm like, you got to buy from me. You got to buy all this stuff. And it was like lotions, potions, all these products and stuff. I was excited. My parents looked at it. They're like, this is like twice the price that I get at Walmart. Why would I buy this stuff? I'm like,
Right.
Mom, you don't understand. This is a business, all this stuff. They didn't get it. But I got fired up and I got excited. And that's when a whole new world opened up to me because, again, I don't want to get into all the details on what happened in my journey, like exactly what happened. But the biggest thing I realized is that most people I was meeting at those meetings, they were like dropouts. A lot of them didn't finish college or high school even. I met a guy who didn't finish high school and he was making 7 figures. He showed me his checks and I was just like, how is this possible? Because I didn't know there was any other way to make money.
Right.
But, they were teaching the old school ways. Those guys were doing it the old school way. MLM, network marketing, go meet, make a friends and family list, go to shopping malls, prospect. I did all those things. I used to kidnap my friends to bring them to a meeting. But nobody saw what I saw. Everybody was like, what is this thing you're in? I remember I kidnapped a friend. Let's go for a drive an hour to New York. I'm like, I'll bring you somewhere. And we went and they showed up. Like, where am I? So it was crazy.
Right.
Uh,
Right. So,
but in the sea, I
so,
never made money in that.
right. And so that was kind of your entry point to the world of online marketing, I guess.
Right. So I started thinking outside the box. I'm like, okay, my friends and family don't want anything to do with it, but there's people who think like me somewhere out there. There's got to be a better way to find people, right? And I remember I even quit college, and I was devastated with my parents because I'm like, I'm gonna figure this thing out. I don't want to trade my time for money. I want to learn from people who are millionaires, not college professors who are kind of like, just having a job and never had a business. I'm like, I want to learn from these people. So I read a lot of books. My mindset started to change. A lot of those things that helped. But I started thinking outside the box. I'm like, there's got to be a better way for me to find people who are thinking like me because I realized I'm like, it's kind of like I'm trying to convince a vegetarian to eat meat. It's like I'm selling a steak to a vegetarian. I'm like, these
Right.
people want nothing to do with it. And I thought early on, I'm like, there's people like me somewhere out there. I started looking online. Long story short, I found this system. I found this concept of attraction, all this stuff. But, I still didn't learn how to do, leverage systems. I knew how to sell. I got a sales job in the process. That's actually where I learned how to sell. So when I first entered, my first kind of breakthrough happened was when I got on the phone and I started closing people on the phone, but I still couldn't drive traffic. I couldn't find that. I was just buying lists. I was cold calling all that. And
Right.
I
Right.
made some money and actually started making decent money, but I got burned out real fast.
Right. Right. So yeah, there's the right way of doing things, and there's the hard
Yeah.
and tedious and very long process of doing things.
Right.
Cool.
My income would go like this. Sometimes I would get like really excited. I would go on a sprees and then I'd be like, oh man, I can't do this anymore. Like I was on the phone for 12 hours. And I was kind of doing good because I wasn't doing like MLM model. I was doing more of a higher ticket, similar to what we're doing now, right? But I didn't know how to size it. I didn't know how to drive traffic. So I was basically cold calling.
Right.
And I was working a job in the process. And that's kind of how it all happened. And then I'm like, I got to learn to systemize it. I got to learn a different method. I got to learn how to market. And, I got into different things, but long story short, I mean, you had to create funnels. You had to still learn how to do technical aspects. You had to create content. You had to do this. And it took me years to have like real breakthrough where I can actually have some kind of income where I made money from just doing my own marketing without like cold calling.
Right.
But the issue I encountered that people couldn't duplicate what I was doing because it took me years. Like I found a mentor. I remember investing thousands of dollars who taught me this stuff. Most people didn't have the patience, right?
Yeah, and
And
that's really
it was kind of that kind of journey.
right. And
What's that?
I'm not here to obviously knock the MLM industry and stuff, but the thing with that specific industry is that you have to, if you want to succeed in, doing MLM, for those of you that are viewers right now doing MLM, being a high performer and getting on the phone and all that, that's not really like, it's a double-edged sword because yes, you can maybe get sales for yourself, but the person you're signing up is looking at you thinking, am I gonna have to do that? I don't know how to do that. I don't want to do that. So they usually just opt out. So there is obviously a better way, and let's maybe kind of get into that. So So how long ago, how did you find my system? Like what was how did you come about,
So,
finding that?
right. So at one point, right, I kind of decided, I'm like, you know what, I want to take a little break because I just didn't feel like people I was working with were having enough success, right? And I knew what I went through, and it was kind of frustrating to me all the time because, yeah, I had people have success, but the percentage was always seemed to be like very small, right? Because again, not everybody was willing to go through what I went through to learn all those skills. And I even took a whole year off from the industry. I said, I'm going to go do real estate. And I went to did real estate and, I had some success with it, not like digital marketing, but I had some, decent success. And about 6 months ago, somebody showed me your system. And what got my attention was I do all the work, you do all the work, you do all the follow-up, you do everything, and you do all the selling. And what I realized when I went through your presentation is that you had everything in one place that I didn't have before, right? You had the offer, you had the bonuses, you had the irresistible offer, you had the urgency, why they should take action right now. And I was used to selling, like I would sell like a $20-something product and then I would upsell into higher, right? You were getting people to join like from the highest level. I'm like, this is different. And then I went through your follow-up and I started getting like all these emails from you. I'm like, if I send this many emails, I probably get them. How do you do this? So like that got my attention. And the follow-up is phenomenal. Your follow-up converts better than anything. I stopped even worrying about that stuff. So
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. And that, again, that takes time, right? A lot of people think, okay, well, sometimes people think, oh yeah, all you need is just to send a couple of emails. Well, if it was that easy, everybody would be making money right now. So
right.
I decided, you know what, let me take care of that for my members. So you guys just focus on one thing, and which is, just one thing, which is, promote your link and stuff, which I even show you how.
Yeah.
And I'll take care of everything else. And that works.
And then they can
right?
evolve. Right? They can get better. They can get into more technical aspects as they go. But I think the most important thing is for a new person to create a story. They want to get that sale. And like even when I started, right? Okay, I have some experience in the past, but I'm new. I don't have anything with the system yet. Well, you have results. You have the Facebook group, and there's people posting. So we leverage that until we can create it, right? And for a new person, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. When you take care of the proof and the testimonials and the follow-up.
I used to hate the question people would ask me, but I struggle. How much money did you make? And I don't know how to answer that. Right. But then if you show all these members making all this money, it's like, hey, I'm just getting started. I'm on my way to make whatever. But it's like, look, all these members, I just got started, but they're making money. You can do it too.
Right. So what happened? You joined, you obviously saw that this is different because I do the work and you basically get to keep the commissions and you just need to focus on the one thing. So what happened as soon as you started? What were your results since you've joined?
Well, as soon as I started, right. As soon as I started, my first month, I did over $10,000 in commissions. It was
Your
my
first month.
I've been promoting now in 1 month, my first month, right?
$10,000 your first
in,
month.
6 months, my first month I made $10,000.
That's
in
phenomenal.
6 months I did. Well, now it's over 80,000 in 6 months.
$80,000 in 6 months.
Yeah, and my biggest week, I just had the biggest week. I actually, right after I made you that video where I had like a record-breaking week, I actually had another record-breaking. It was $14,000 that I ended up doing
in
for the
single week.
In a single week, yeah. So
for everyone that's watching right now, okay, just to decipher this for you in case you're not following. He joined 6 months ago. His first 30 days, he made $10,000, which is more than pretty much any kind of job that you can get out there with doing regular jobs. I mean, that's probably more than what a whole family makes in like a whole month. And up till now, $80,000. $80,000. That is incredible, man. In 6 months. And $14,000 weeks in the process.
The best part about it is I'm actually working less and making more. That's, I think, to me, is the leverage here is amazing. Because again, I used to do so many things and so many headaches, and now it's kind of like a mindset shift. Wow, I can work less, I can make more, I can just generate more traffic and let the system take care of the rest.
Absolutely. That is what, by the way, why I set this up. This is when I first joined the industry, I had the same problem like you. There was the technical, there was the follow-up, there was the conversions, the problem, there was the videos to make, there was all these different things. And as I I mean, a lot of people see me and they're like, oh man, this dude is like an overnight success. All of a sudden he's like, attracting all these people. Yeah, it's a 6 year overnight success that took a long time to kind of get here. But the most important thing is that I'm trying to, alleviate you guys doing the things that you really don't need to focus on, and you just need to do the one thing that really produces the results. And obviously, $80,000 in 6 months. That's clearly it's working. So let me ask you this: so $80,000 in 6 months, which is absolutely phenomenal. Has that made any impact in your personal life? Like, what's different? Is there anything different right now in your personal life that making this kind of money has been able to do for you?
Yeah, because I have more time, I have more freedom, I have more things to do, things that I love doing, right? Because again, like I was doing real estate, but I was chasing all this sellers, trying to find all this distressed property, like all this. It was taking like all my day, just like when I first got into the industry, I was on the phone all day, right? So there was no freedom. It's like, what are you working for? You make the money, but you have no freedom to enjoy it. We're preaching the dream, right? We're selling the dream, but we're living the nightmare. And that's kind of another thing that used to frustrate me. But now, having come this far and, found your system, the leverage we have is amazing. But that's not even the most exciting thing, okay? Yes, I have time freedom. Yes, I have all that. I have new people that have come in. I have a girl that just started and she just made 2 sales, both at $2,000.
So $4,000 new person.
Right. In the first 30 days. I have another lady, she's in UK. She made her first $2,000, so there's so many. I'm seeing story after story. People are saying they can duplicate, right?
Absolutely.
And I just tell them, hey, do this, focus on one thing only, and you can have success too.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, where the system,
And really, for those of you that are watching this, the viewers right now, if you're wondering, like, how is it that new people are now able to get results? That's because here's the thing. This is all part of a system, okay? A system where the system doesn't care who's using it. As long as you use it correctly and you do the few little things you need to do, it will perform. It's a machine, basically. It's a machine that does the same job every single day, and it doesn't matter who's using it, right? So that's the important part. So if you've never had success in the past, or you're doing things in your business and it's not working, either you want to look at something, doing something differently, which is maybe clicking the button below and checking out what this system is. Or if you, up until now, you've been kind of frustrated that you have all these things to do in your business, making videos and, getting websites up and doing all kinds of things like email follow-up and dealing with autoresponders and merchant accounts and all these different things. You don't need to do any of that here. Any of that. I mean, there is the setup. How long did it take you to get set up with this, Michael?
I mean, maybe an hour max.
There you go. There you go. So for those of you that are watching, is it worth for you to take an hour of your time and get plugged into something that can potentially make you, again, no guarantees or anything like that, but $80,000 in 6 months? That is incredible. I mean, that's double what I used to make a year working a regular job before I got involved in the industry. Double in half the time. And you don't have to, do you have to now, and another thing that I want to ask you, because a lot of people right now are probably, looking at this thinking a couple of things. Out of the 80,000, because there's a lot of programs out there that's like, oh yeah, we made 80,000 in sales, but what did you take home? That's the question. So this program, by the way, is 100% commission. So out of the 80,000, how much of that did I, take? I didn't take anything because Michael got to keep all of those commissions. And that's kind of important. Now also, Michael, another question for you. A lot of people might be wondering, do you have like a team of 10 people to make the 80,000 in 6 months?
No, I didn't have to build an army. I think that's, if you join traditional, like where I came from, the world, right, you need an army of people. You need a village probably, right? to earn any money, or like to make 10,000 a month, it takes a lot of people, And again, there's attrition, right? People drop out, all this stuff, like all the headaches to do. Here, it's strictly, hey, you make a sale, you get paid, but you get paid a higher commission, and the margin is big, and that allows you to scale fast. It allows you to not worry about all the other headaches, right? Making tiny commissions. And,
right.
You can beat some commission with.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. The commissions that we get to see here most often is I mean, what are your typical commissions, Michael? I mean, I can tell you what I had this morning. I don't know if you saw that in the group, which
Yeah,
was,
so
a pretty big one, but that's not a typical one, right? I don't even do that every day.
I'm having multiple $4,000 days, like $2,000 sales. I'm having multiple. I'm constantly in the group posting. I made a 2,000 or made 4,000. It seems to be like 2,000, 4,000 a day. Not
Right.
bad, not every day, but it adds up.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Michael, let me ask you this. For the viewers that are watching this right now, what advice would you give someone that's kind of on the fence? Maybe they looked at the program or they haven't even looked at it and they're kind of trying to find something that works. What advice do you have for somebody that's watching this right now that you can give them as an experienced user of the system, somebody who's inside, already seen how it works, and obviously had phenomenal results?
But the biggest advice I can give, I think a lot of things is people are like, oh, there's a fear aspect. Is this going to work for me? Is this going to do this, right? That's what holds a lot of people back. Or like, let me dip one toe in the water. Hopefully it works. They don't say it, but that's what goes through their mind, right? Oh, I don't know because they don't believe yet, right? My advice is trust the system, trust the process, get started at the highest level because then you're committed. And if you're committed mentally, physically, you're all in with both feet, you jump with both feet. Something starts opening up on the other side. You have to figure it out. You have to make it work. I've seen it all the time. People who commit fully, they're the most likely ones to succeed. And the ones that dip one toe, they just drop out.
Right,
I don't know
right.
why that happened, but
Great advice. Great advice.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, get positioned the right way. Activate as many income streams as you can. That's the main thing. And treat it as a business.
right, right. And that's the other thing too. In this program, it's not just one income stream that you get paid from. Michael, if you can maybe touch on that a little bit, how is this program different than maybe everything else that's kind of out there, or, picking a product off of ClickBank or something to promote?
Right. So you're still doing the same work, right? You're still doing the same effort. You're promoting one link, but you and your system is promoting all the income streams that you have inside the system, right? So it's the same effort. So why not? That's why it makes sense to have as many income streams open as you can, activated, because again, you're still doing the same work effort. I don't care if you're promoting, it takes as much effort to even sell a, I don't know, $100 product as it, and I've proven many times myself, as it's to sell a higher ticket product. Same effort. You might as well sell something higher ticket, but also
sure.
You might as well have multiple streams of income if you're still doing the same work with one link.
For sure. You
You're
just
still
get to
promoting
your
the same
goals
thing.
faster. You make more money.
You get to get those
Everybody's
faster.
happier.
You maximize your margins. Then you can take some of your money if you decide to run some more traffic. You can reinvest. It gives you more flexibility to scale fast.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Michael, thank you. Thank you very much for taking the time to come and do this case study. That's incredible. $80,000 in 6 months. That's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that's for anybody. I mean, if nothing else changes, which of course I know it's going to be higher, but if nothing else changes over the next 6 months, that's already close to over 6 figures a year, close to multiple 6 figures at this point. So, any final words for our viewers?
I think I already said it again, and I keep saying it's just like get started. Don't question it. You don't need to think about it. Just take action. If I can do it, so can you. And I'm not the only one. I mean, if you look inside your Facebook group, it's just the amount of success is just mind blowing to me. That got my attention because I have never seen this many people succeeding. Every day there's a new person. I just saw that lady you just interviewed. She's posting content like $4,000 days. She just got started. I think she did 20,000 in like 5 weeks.
In 5 weeks.
I just watched that interview.
Yeah.
I was blown away.
Yeah, I was blown away too. That's why I invited her. I was like, "What? How? 5 weeks, 20K? That's incredible." I mean,
she did better than I did, and she's newbie, so it made me all fired up. I'm like, wow.
When I was new in the industry, I didn't make anywhere close to that. I mean, it was like a year of struggle that I went through to be able to make anything, And then after that, once I started really paying attention to the stuff that's important, that's when things kind of opened up. And now you guys get the best.
I had something like this when I got started.
Absolutely. Me too, man. Me too. I wish I had this too. But the good news is now we do. So now we do. We can take full advantage of it. It's like a high-speed bullet train that can take as many people on board. And honestly, we're just getting started with this. There it doesn't matter how many people join in the next 3 to 6 to 12 months. We are never, ever, ever, in my opinion, going to be able to ever fulfill the demand that's in the market, because every single day more and more people are looking to start a business, more and more, and there's not enough of us. So if
Especially in
you're,
today's times,
what's that?
people are losing jobs.
Absolutely,
Especially in
absolutely.
today's days,
And not only
people are
that, but a
looking
lot
for
of
plan
people
B,
are
right?
realizing that their job is not as secure as they thought it
Yeah,
was. And also, from the moment that people kind of are at home, a lot of them don't want to go back. I don't blame them. I mean, who would want to sit in traffic and do all this stuff where you can be
right.
at home with the kids and doing whatever you want and that kind of stuff?
And the best part is that they can make money fast. Okay, I think a lot of people, they hear this phrase, is this get rich quick scheme? Well, do you want to make money slow? I don't know. I want to make money quick.
Yeah.
And I think that people's belief, they holds them like, oh, if it's you make money fast, it must be a bad thing.
Right.
It's not a bad thing.
You know what? That's okay. Sometimes people need to sit on the sidelines for a little while, watch other people make a ton of money, and then maybe something switches on and then they do it. Me personally, when I see something I want, I just go for it all in. I go all in with the highest levels because it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. It's either go big or go home for me, anyways. But again, everybody has their preference, right? So yeah, so thanks again, Michael. I really appreciate it. For everyone that's watching, if you're interested in learning more about this system, how did Michael do exactly $80,000 in 6 months, the exact system that he uses, you want to click the button that's just below, or somewhere on this page is going to be a button. With that being said, thank you, Michael, again for doing this, and we'll see you guys inside the system and on the next video. Bye for now.
Yeah. Bye.